Hey YouTube, it's Liam, the very sweaty Death Doom Metalhead here on a very clammy Tuesday evening here in the UK. So the summer weather has arrived finally, and yeah, I'm sweating my tits off. But I'm in a good mood because I've now hit 80 subscribers on this channel, which is, you know, really cool for me. I mean, it's peanuts to most people, but I mean, I was lucky. You know, I used to think I'd maybe get 30 at a push if I was lucky. So I'm well happy with that. So thank you to everyone who subscribed and checked out my music and all that kind of thing. So hopefully the channel can grow and grow, and you guys can get something out of it, because I love sharing new music and like all my bands I listen to, because I listen to so much shit, and you know, it'd be really cool if people can take that and you know, find some new bands. But anyway, I've got a collection update. So I've got a fair few bits and pieces in the mail that have arrived because of the delay in postage. It's kind of, I've forgotten about some of these because I bought them months ago, and there's still some more to turn up this week, I believe. But mostly at the moment is, you know, 2 bands here I've got records for, and then the rest are CDs. And then, you know, the next one I can do, because I don't want to do too many on one video, because then, you know, you get swamped, and then it might be months before I get anything else. So without further ado, we'll move on. So I've got 7 bands to show you, a couple of releases from each band, but we'll kick off with one of the, I think the newest one in the collection I've got here. This came out in May this year through Seven Lord Records, and it can be described as probably hardcore death metal, that kind of thing. And that is, if I pronounce this right, if not, let me know, Xibalba, and the album is Anos un Infierno. Can't do Spanish pronunciation, but either way, this is a fucking monster of an album. Came out in May this year, like I said, and it is fantastic. I listened to it maybe a couple of weeks ago because I saw someone recommend it on a YouTube channel, and I checked it out, and within 3 tracks in, I was hooked. But I really like this one the most out of their discography, because it's got some doom elements in it, which really appealed to me, especially the last track, Abysmo. I can't pronounce that, but yeah, the last track, it's got this really good doomy ending, and it sounds fucking awesome. And also the artwork is incredible. Like for a gatefold, look at that. It's got the temples on fire there and all that kind of thing, which is what I love about vinyl. If you get ones with really good artwork, it just makes it owning it even better. This is a black vinyl. Now, what I know of this band, they formed in 2007. I think there's more of them, but there's a 3-piece now. And this is a monster of an album. I mean, to describe it, you've kind of got Gatecreeper vibes going on, a little bit of Hatebreed in there. The guitars sound really sludgy and heavy, like really produced really well. And it kicks ass. That's all I can describe it as. It kicks ass. It's really under my radar. Never heard of them before. I checked out the other album on Spotify. You know, a bit more thrashier than this one, but as a band, it sounds fantastic. I'm really happy I got it. So yeah, Xibalba, definitely check that one out. Now the other one is 2 records. I'm a big fan of Hammerheart records, and I've mentioned that in previous videos, which I'll send a link up to the other videos. And they put a post out on their social media basically talking about this one, saying they've still got releases of this left. Now I checked it out, and again, the same thing as the previous band. I listened to a couple of tracks, I was hooked. I had to have it. Looked at the prices, and you know, I think it came to a grand total of maybe €17 for the 2, and then you pay postage. But it was a no-brainer for me, because I'm a massive fan of 90s death doom, and like especially ones I've never heard of, and you check them out and they sound fucking awesome. And that is Beyond Belief from the Netherlands. Now they formed, if I got my notes right, in 1986, but they had a lot of lineup issues, and they didn't get their first release out, which is this one, until 1993. This one came out in 1995, and I think this is the only 2 full lengths they ever did, and these have been remastered since. These came out in 2016, these remasters. And you know, I could only compare them to very early 90s death doom like Tiamat, the Clouds album, sprinklings of like My Dying Bride are in here, earlier Nafmar in here, but it's got that Dutch kind of style to it, because I love Dutch death doom. There's so many bands I could run on about from Holland that sound incredible, and I've mentioned quite a few already on this channel, but this band, completely under my radar again. I checked them out, instant fan. And they've been remastered really, really well. They sound massive. That one was black vinyl, but this one I got was a splatter. And I will show you it. So yeah, I mean, they sound like, you know, the vocal styles like early Clouds, Tiamat Clouds album. Look at that, really cool. And the riffing's really heavy, really traditional almost in some parts. It's not over the top, there's no triggers or anything like that, you know, it's just solid, doomy death metal. Some good solos in there, chugginess in there. So yeah, totally worth checking them out. That's beyond belief. Please check them out because they are really, really good if you like that kind of genre of early death metal, doom metal. Now, sticking with the Dutch theme, this next one I bought off eBay. It's a CD now. I've run out of records. But the problem was, as I normally do, I'm on eBay and I'll see a price because I'll be after a certain album I've been after for months or years. And I saw this one for a £5 and I was like, oh, buy. But without reading, like I always do, I got a promo copy of the 11th Hour, Burden of Grief. Now, I've wanted this album for a long time, and because I saw it, I thought, ooh, that's cheap. I mean, there was obviously a reason why it was cheap, because it's a promotional copy. Now, this came out through Napalm Records in 2009. And what's cool about this one, and why I like it so much, it's a one-man band, well, this album is, I think, anyway, by Ed Warby. Now, Ed Warby was the drummer for Gorefest, Hail of Bullets. I think he's also the current drummer for Ver, if you've heard of them. And what surprised me the most is the clean vocals is him singing. Now, because I followed Gorefest and Hail of Bullets for years and years and years, you only see him drumming. He's an amazing drummer, but he also plays the bass, the guitars, I think the keyboards maybe as well. And he also does the clean vocals. And he's got quite a good singing voice, and it really does work with the music. The guttural vocals are done by a well-known chap called Roger Johansson, who's the vocalist for Paganizer, Swedish death metal band. And he's got a really raw guttural voice, so the two blend really well, and it's really epic. The only problem is, because it's a promotional copy, it keeps fucking telling me the album title. This is a copy of blah, 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 through Napalm Records, blah, 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 through each track, so it kind of kills the mood a little bit. I can ignore it, but if I listen to it and it bugs me, I have to turn it off. So it's my own fault, but if you can get a copy of the actual album, so worth recommending. I think their latest release also has another former Gorefest guitar player in the band now, so it's definitely worth checking out. That's 11th Hour. Moving on. Now, this is another one I checked out a while ago. Me and the boys in Consecration, it's the band I play in, we're signed to Solitude Productions, which is a Russian death doom label. And they put out, you know, all sorts of obscure bands that I've never heard of, and I check them out and I like them. But the problem is, because it's Solitude Productions, they're quite hard to get hold of because they only sell it in Russia, unless the band, you know, do another label and release it through vinyl or tape or whatever. And that's how I discovered this band. So this is another one-man project, but this is an American-Mexican band called Majestic Downfall. And the glare on that is going to be awful because of my white screens. So I'll show you that one. So this is a one-man death doom project from originally in Texas, I believe, and he's moved back to Mexico, where he carries the band on. And it is fantastic. What pisses me off more is that if it's a one-man band, you can produce stuff as good as what's on this album. It's really annoying because as a band, we struggle to write songs at the best of times, but this guy's churning. I mean, I think this is maybe the 6th or 7th album they've put out. These are the 2 latest ones. It's fantastic. Death doom, but there's more atmosphere. There's a lot more going on than just straight up death metal riffs played slower. There's a lot of atmosphere going on. And yeah, I mean, I checked them out. Let's see what I said about them. Yeah, so the guy's called Jacobo Cordova, and he does everything, I think. And then as a live band, you know, he has different musicians, but he does everything. This is the one through Solitude Productions that I knew about, because when we signed to them, I spotted this when it came out, so I checked that out. And it's produced, you know, mixed really, really well. It sounds massive. You know, there's loads of atmosphere. And then you got this one here, which was through Pulverized Records, When Dead. So there's only one, I believe, through Solitude Productions. But this one's really good as well. The same thing. Lots of atmosphere, really heavy guitar riffs. I think there's some clean vocals he does as well, unless he's got someone else doing it. But, you know, the guttural vocals, the guitar work, you know, it's all spot on for me. So it's definitely worth checking these guys out. So that's Majestic Downfall. Now, moving on to some more upbeat music. So we've done all the slow, heavy shit. Now, this band I saw live when I went to Bloodstock Festival maybe 6-7 years ago. Probably 6 years ago. And I saw them live. I thought they were a black metal band, but they're definitely not. They're from Norway, so you kind of assume. But, you know, they taught me a new one in the crowd. It was just, I'll tell you who they are. Blood Red Throne. So they are a Norwegian death metal band, but there's so much groove in this. I believe Dodd, the guitarist, is a massive fan of Pantera, and it really shines in their music. Like, the grooves on it are ridiculous. I mean, we were in the front near the pit, and there's bodies flying everywhere, you know. And I was tired as it was, you know. It was my first festival, and I was, you know, filthy, tired. I mean, it rained, and it's sunny, and then it rained. And if you've done festivals, you know what I'm talking about. But I couldn't stop moving. It was just absolutely fantastic. They were really good live, really heavy, really like fuck you kind of to the crowd, you know, in a positive way. It was great fun, really good, and I've become a fan ever since. I mean, I brought their self-titled album when I was at that festival on vinyl, which is back there, and I've got a couple more of their CDs. But I got this one recently. What's it called? Altered Genesis, which a lot of people would class as their best. This came out in 2005 through Earache Records, and it's just got so many good riffs. Like, if you're a fan of groovy death metal, check it out. If you haven't, I mean, I'd be amazed if you haven't, but they're such a good band. I mean, Dodd, who's the chap who's still in the band, I think he's the only original member, him and the other original guitarist, DeCourt, I can't pronounce it right, they were originally live guitarists for Satyricon back in the day in the early 90s. And then they formed this band to kind of show their love for death metal. And I know DeCourt also played bass for Emperor, Caparian Forest, I think was another one, if I pronounce that right. I'm rubbish with Norwegian black metal bands. But, I mean, it's just such a good band. They even have a guitarist called Meathook who looks like Dimebag Darrell. You know, from a distance, you think it's Dimebag Darrell. He even plays a Dean Razorback, moves the same way as him. Next, you know, Jack Daniels as he's playing. You know, it's great stuff. Check out the track Smite, and you kind of get the idea of what I'm talking about. And if you go on YouTube and search for this band name and Bloodstock Festival, you'll see the footage of the gig I was at, and the crowd just going fucking mental. It was really, really good. So yeah, Blood Red Throne, check them out. And then sticking with Norwegians, and also former, you know, black metal guitar players forming death metal bands, we have the Wretched End. Now, this band is formed, I believe, by Samuth, who's the guitar player for Emperor. And it also has, if I've written it down correctly, Niles Filstrom, who's an amazing drummer. If you don't know him, I think he goes by the name Dominator, maybe. Dark Throne, you know, there's so many black metal bands he's been in. But he's fucking fast. Like, if you check out his videos, he's all over the place. And then the vocals are done by a guy called Cosmo. So I guess they're all their band names. Yeah, I mean, what I describe this band as, this is more thrashy death metal. Their newer albums, they've leaned way back to like the black metal sound, so it's black and death metal, but I really like this one because it sounds almost like, you know, those Exodus albums that had Rob Dukes on vocals. It's the production and everything sounds like those albums. So if you're kind of a thrash fan but like that more, I guess, hardcore-y, thrashy, punky kind of style vocals that are more aggressive than your normal like attacking vocals that you get in thrash bands, definitely check these guys out. I mean, the guitars sound massive on this. And it's, you know, not very expensive as well. If you go on eBay, you can get this very, very cheap. I think I only paid £2 for this. I mean, I've listened to this for years as an MP3. And I spotted it on eBay and I thought, oh, I should get that because I've listened to it for quite a long time. Check out Human Corporation, Last Judgment, those kind of tracks, you know, and you won't be wasting your time. It's a very, very good album, especially if, like I say, if you like the more deafy kind of thrashy sound, then, you know, this will be right up your street. The newer one's probably not, but this one you definitely will be. So that's the Wretched End. And then finally, I took a punt on this one because I was on eBay again, and I kind of, you know, saw the album artwork and I thought I'd probably like that, and I put like a pathetic bid on it, and I won it. I was the only one that bid on it, so I thought, it's probably shit, but it's not. It's really, really good. And that is, without getting a glare on the screen, that is Rapture with Songs for the Withering. Now they're a Finnish band, and this was put out through the Finnish label Spine Farm Records in 2000. No, Spike Farm Records and Spine Farm Records. There's a few, but yeah, this came out in 2002, and all I could describe it as, it sounds like mid-album Catatonia mixed with Daylight Dies. So you got that kind of guttural vocal style with the Daylight Dies music, with the harmonies and the melodic guitar work, and then that you mix it with a kind of Catatonia kind of production and also guitar work. You get this band. Very upbeat. They're not slow songs. They're more, you know, that kind of riding the hi-hat, kind of driving kind of riffs. It's really good melodic death doom, but heavily leaning on the melodic side. It's got some great guitar melodies on this. And I never heard it before, and I checked it out, and, you know, I've listened to this quite a few times now. Especially the first couple of tracks, like Nameless and Gallows. They're really good tracks. So definitely check that out. I mean, I can't recommend this enough. It was a surprise buy for me. I'm probably really disappointed with the other albums. I haven't checked them out yet, but I normally find out I buy an album, really like it, check out the discography, and I don't like it. So that's on my to-do list. But this is a great album. So yeah. So that's it for now. I've still got a fair bit coming, and I always do, because I can't stop buying music. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's watched this video and you've got this far. I've hit 80 subscribers now, so I'm very happy about that. Big thanks to a lady called Wendy on my Instagram who recommended a couple of albums to me the other day, and Tony, who watches these videos as well. Thank you, mate, because he recommended a band to me. You know, I love finding out new bands, especially when people message me to tell me you'll like this. So, you know, it means I'm doing something right if I'm putting myself on the internet and people kind of starting to understand the kind of things I like. But yeah, like Wendy and Tony, they came up top trumps, you know. Especially Wendy, she put 2 albums from a band I've never heard of from Australia. And they sound fantastic, but I can't find their CDs for love or money. So that's my mission, to go on Discogs and kind of hunt them down, because they're really good, really good. So yeah, big thanks to everyone who's watched. Please give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll put links to Instagram page, other videos, all that kind of shit. So in the meantime, you take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers. Hey.